CES 2022 just took place. The show wrapped up this Friday evening, and we got a good bit of HomeKit announcements. And of course, today I'm going to tell you about all of them. Some you may have heard about, some you may not. Let's go. Yo, what's up guys? My name is Shane if you're new here, and this channel is all about building an easy smart home using Apple's HomeKit platform, with new videos published every Sunday right here. So CES, the Consumer Electronics Show 2022, took place all this past week. Today I'm going to share with you everything announced as it relates, of course, to HomeKit. Now, I'm not going to go into depth with any of this stuff here. Be on the lookout for future review videos and things like that on the channel as many of these products, become available later this year. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on those future videos. But I'm gonna kind of fly through this and give you everything new that you might want to know about. Personally, I kind of have mixed feelings about CES and the announcements that come out of it each year. On the one hand, quite often things that get announced never actually come to fruition, or they just take much longer, than a year for us to ever see. There's that, and then on the other hand, it can be a nice way to kind of gauge what to expect over the next year in the HomeKit and smart home space in general, which I think this year's CES actually does tell us a lot. So without further ado, let's jump in. First up, Design, an Italian startup, introduced its first consumer product for the American market called WiiU. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but either way, it's pretty fun to say. It's essentially a smart switch, but so much cooler. Apparently, you need one WiiU master switch for the whole house, and then you can connect up to 30 other WiiU switches without requiring any additional hub or hardware. They'll come in black and white options. Touch buttons are programmable and can trigger, scenes. The buttons feature customizable LEDs and include a motion sensor that can be used for automations. They can be used as dimmers, three-way switches, and they'll be suitable to work in the EU, UK, and US. It does say HomeKit certification process is pending, so they don't support HomeKit just yet, but apparently they've applied or are working on it, and hopefully this is something we'll see soon. I'm kind of loving the way these things look and hope we actually get to try them out here this year. Next, we got some big news earlier in the week from Wemo announcing a new video doorbell camera that works exclusively with HomeKit Secure Video. It is available to pre-order right now for $249 US. Very happy to see a new doorbell camera with support for HomeKit Secure Video hit the market. Hopefully more brands will follow suit in the coming year. Now, Wemo also announced new versions of their Wemo Smart Plug, their Smart Light Switch, and Smart Dimmer, all of which will support Matter over Thread. If you don't already know, Matter is that new smart home standard that is planned to roll out this year, hopefully, fingers crossed. And Thread is one of the protocols that Matter supports. So you'll be hearing more about Matter and Thread throughout this video, and certainly throughout this year 2022. These new Wemo products will be available later this year in 25 countries. And lastly, from Wemo, another exciting announcement, one I've been waiting on for quite a while. They'll finally be rolling out Thread support via a firmware update to their Wemo Stage Scene Controller. I got one right here. I've been waiting for this, and it's finally here. If all goes well, we should see that firmware update by the end of that month. Literally, this thing has been sitting on my desk for months, and I have been waiting for that Thread support so I can take advantage of that here in my HomeKit home. The Aqara air purifier announced during CES that their advanced Aqara air purifier will now support HomeKit in addition to Amazon and Google Assistants. Bosch showcased their smart Radiator thermostat with HomeKit support, which I believe requires the Bosch smart home controller or hub. Bosch does make a lot of nice smart home products, primarily in the European market, I believe, many of which do support HomeKit, but not all of them. This smart Radiator was one that they showcased during this year's CES. TP-Link introduced their new Tapo smart home line to the US, which includes the HomeKit compatible mini smart plug, smart dimmer switch, power strip, light strip, and light bulb. The lineup doesn't require a hub connecting directly to Wi-Fi, and TP-Link says the Tapo products will become available throughout the year at competitive price points. Schlage announced that their new Schlage Encode Plus smart lock will be compatible with Apple Home keys. I personally am very excited about this. I've been eager to try out this new feature ever since it was announced by Apple at WWDC back in June of 2021. This could very well be the first smart lock to support this home key feature, at least here in the US anyways, and that should start shipping this spring. Twinkly, the maker of my favorite smart Christmas lights, announced a new product this year called Twinkly Dots, also coming this spring. These new Twinkly Dots will also support HomeKit just like their Christmas lights and other products. Now, speaking of lighting, Singlet announced a new Video Sync TV light strip that will sync to a TV using a small camera. They also announced new outdoor string lights that can be individually set to different colors, both of which I believe will support HomeKit. They also announced an LED oil diffuser light, window and door sensor, a motion sensor. Now, not sure if all of these will support HomeKit, but Singlet did also announce that they will begin offering support for Matter in the second quarter of this year, which who knows, maybe that means they will work with HomeKit if they support Matter. We'll just have to see. Now, speaking of Matter, Aqara announced its plan to introduce a new line of devices that support Thread. This new line will start with a new door and window sensor and a new motion sensor, which we should see in the second half of 2022. Now, this to me is pretty exciting. We already knew that Aqara has committed to rolling out firmware updates to its M1S and M2 Zigbee hubs to support Matter later this year, which is great. This will expose the Aqara child devices to Matter, but them actually releasing new Thread-enabled sensors means that essentially you won't need any hub for these to work with your smart home. They should be able to connect directly to your existing Thread network, so I'm pleasantly surprised to hear that Aqara is planning to release new sensors with built-in Thread support. And it's hard to discuss HomeKit over Thread without thinking about Eve. Eve is the company with the largest portfolio of Thread-enabled HomeKit products to date. They announced earlier in the week that their new motion blinds in partnership with Colis are now available and shipping worldwide. These shades connect via Thread or Bluetooth and will support Matter once that rolls out. Now, I did get my hands on some and actually did a full review already on the channel of these new motion blinds, which you can check out right here. Eve also announced a brand new outdoor camera that will be available for $249 beginning in April of this year. It's a HomeKit secure video camera with a powerful floodlight built in. Super excited to hear about this one. Nanoleaf, who's also been doing some great things with Thread support, announced that their Nanoleaf elements, shapes, and the new lines will get a firmware update, allowing them to become a true border router for all Thread HomeKit devices. So they've been working as a Thread border router for a while now, but only for, other Nanoleaf products. With this update coming soon, essentially they can act as a Thread border router to connect any of your Thread devices to HomeKit from any brand, which is really cool. Essentially, this means, for example, you can take an Eve sensor or one of the new Aqara sensors when those come out and connect it to your Thread network. If you have Nanoleaf shapes, they can act as your Thread border router. You wouldn't even need another border router like a HomePod Mini or something like that. Some other things to mention just as it relates to Matter. Toya announced that they're committed to bringing support for Matter to their huge line of smart home products, and the same goes for Arlo. Arlo also announced a new suite of security products like a security system with contact sensors, water sensors, and more. Now, this doesn't mean that all these will support HomeKit necessarily right away. I bring these up because in theory, these brands that are committing to Matter will hopefully all work with HomeKit once Matter actually rolls out. We will see. Again, it's still a lot left to be determined, but hopefully that's what this means. All in all, some pretty good announcements. Now, I'm sure there is going to be some other new exciting announcements throughout the year. Obviously, this year Matter was sort of a common thread. See what I did there? So this year should be the year we actually see this new smart home standard come to fruition, which means it could be a monumental year in the smart home space. Probably bigger than any year we've seen in a long time, hopefully. Either way, I'm on board. I'm super excited to see some of these products this year. If you're into building a smart home, definitely subscribe for new HomeKit videos every Sunday. Hit the bell icon so you get notifications and don't miss out on these new videos. I'm definitely planning to make some videos on a lot of the stuff that we talked about here today. And if you're just getting started with HomeKit, you can check out my HomeKit 101 Getting Started playlist right here. It's a good place to start. I've also got some other great HomeKit content for you to check out right here. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.